So now we're gonna have this presentation of Pure BNI by Miss Gina Herald. She comes up here, I'm gonna introduce her. Gina Herald is the head of training for BNI Global. She is one of the most captivating speakers you will ever see. We actually first got to see her present this at the BNI Executive Director Summit at headquarters in Charlotte, where she was talking about this concept of pure BNI. I'm not gonna dilute it any, but she's amazing. She knows what she's talking about. She's actually the second employee of BNI ever. So, welcome, Gina.
BNI Core Region. Thank you. It is an incredible honor to be here with all of you and see all of that you're doing. You guys are really changing the way the world does business in Tampa. So congratulations to everybody who was recognized. I was talking to several people earlier today about the fact that we love the stories. We hear these incredible stories about what BNI does for people's lives, and it really is life-changing. So I joined BNI as a member in 2006, so I've been around for a little while. Spent most of my traditional business career at Nordstrom, so for you ladies out there, yes, I have a lot of really great shoes. And I learned all about customer service and how to take care of people. And I think at BNI, what Tricia and Spencer are doing in this region with their family is taking care of people. And you guys are taking care of each other, which is really cool. So I want to talk a little bit about Pure BNI today. Where did this whole concept come from? Well, it came from the fact that pre-COVID, we had one way of doing things. How many of you were here before COVID? So you know that the only way we ever had a BNI meeting in the past was in person, and we did certain things, and we had a way of doing BNI, and then we went online, and nobody ever dreamed. 5 years this month, by the way, March 13th it was in North Carolina when they shut the world down. So 5 years ago, which is amazing to even think that it's been that long. In the middle of it, we were all like, when is this ever gonna end, right? And here we are. What happened was we came out of COVID and we forgot some of the things that really made BNI an amazing meeting experience. And what I love is Dr. Meisner was on a cruise back in October. Anybody here on the cruise with him? Anybody go on the cruise? The Member Extravaganza cruise? Yes, someone said to him, Ivan, you know what one piece of advice would you give us when it comes to how to be the best we can be in BNI? You know what he said? Just stick to the fundamentals. Stick to the fundamentals. So it turns out that underneath that sun are the words nothing new, because ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing new under the sun in BNI. It's really the fundamentals. It's, as Spencer mentioned, 40 years of tradition layered with innovation that takes our experience to another level in BNI. So there's really nothing new under the sun. I hope some of these things will be things you've heard before, and so there won't be anything new under the sun. I hope there will be a nugget or two, though, and you'll say, wow, I never really thought of it that way. Or, wow, that's sort of an interesting way to look at this. So before we get into it, let's define pure. Probably none of your chapters, okay? Probably none of your chapters, but other chapters I know. I've been around BNI for almost 20 years. They have sometimes extraneous matter and admixture going on in their meetings. And so we want to define pure as free from those things, foreign or inappropriate elements. So it's really just the fundamentals of BNI. Dr. Meisner likes to say, don't do 1,000 things 6 times, do 6 things 1,000 times. And so these are our 6 things: the foundational elements of Pure BNI, the visitor experience, the applicant experience, the member experience, member success, and then chapter success. So it's really a virtuous cycle of success right from the beginning of our foundational elements. So let's look at this. I love this definition of the word foundation because there's words in there like core and heart and essence. That's the essence of what we are, is our foundational elements. So let's look at what those are. First of all, BNI, as you may know, our mission is to help members increase their business. That's the why. That's why we do what we do. The how is through a structured, positive, professional referral marketing program. That's Pure BNI, that structured, positive, professional referral marketing program. And it consists of these items: the chapter meeting agenda, our core values, which we talked about earlier, our code of ethics and general policies, which were mentioned earlier, our policies, our program guidelines, and then our resource guide. So the things that guide what we do in our chapter. And look, you can choose one of two foundations, right? And so when you build on a strong foundation, as Dr. Meisner says, so just stick to the fundamentals. Then when you scale your chapter, it's amazing that every single member can have a great BNI experience and get the return on investment that they expect to get from their membership in BNI. The chapter meeting agenda is the first piece of this. We've all seen this, the 20-point meeting agenda. Out of these 20 points, how many are optional? 0. Technically 0, yeah, the door prize drawing became optional when we went through a little bit of a policy refresh in 2019. I love it though, yes, none of them are optional. Sometimes, and again, not in any of your chapters, other chapters I've seen though, sometimes the membership committee, not only do they not have a report, they sit down and say, the membership committee has nothing to report this week. I'm like, wait, that's item number 11 on the agenda, you missed it. The referral reality check, things like that. So sometimes we miss things, and then we miss the opportunity to have the full meeting experience for our members and our visitors and to remind them of the power of BNI. Oh, there we go. All right, so the hidden elements of the agenda. How many of you guys remember the 2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun thing? Yeah, some of us are that old in this room. Others of you, look it up. No. Here's the thing. I joke about this with people in BNI all the time. We are not at liberty to take the pickles off our Big Mac and call it a Big Mac, because now the recipe has changed. And here's what's beautiful about BNI. We have videos on BNI Business Builder of Dr. Meisner himself talking about the hidden elements of the agenda, and they're so powerful, the why behind everything we do in our chapter meeting. And so this is one of the things that sets us apart. It's our special sauce, if you will. It's what engages our members and our visitors and impresses them during the course of the meeting. So the hidden elements are a really valuable part of what we do and a valuable part of the agenda. And of course, we have our code of ethics and core values. I love that Spencer and Tricia touched on the whole absence thing. I was in the field for many, many years. And during COVID, I was supporting the entire U.S. Corps in the Southeast. So about 6,300 members, 232 chapters was a lot of people. And they would call me and say, Gina, can I count Cameron absent if his camera's off during the meeting? And I'm like, well, what does the attendance policy say? It doesn't say you're absent if your camera's off during a meeting. However, the code of ethics says I will build goodwill and trust among members and their referrals. And the core values include accountability and building relationships, which is tough for me to do if I'm not with you. I'm not sure you're actually here. I want you to be here. I need my whole referral team on the field if I'm going to win every week. So we can deal with almost everything we need to deal with, utilizing our code of ethics and core values along with our policies. We used to have 20 policies in BNI, and we pared it down to 11. And I'm actually a fan of that, so I think it's great. It makes it more member-centric. It keeps us more focused on the fundamentals. We can deal with everything we need to deal with, whether it's a lateness issue, as Spencer and Tricia were talking about. You know, to me, your credibility's in question if you roll into my meeting late, because if you show up to my referral appointment late, we're going to have a problem, because that's my reputation I loaned you. You better take good care of it. It means the world to me. I spent years building it as a positive thing, right? So we have our policies that can address anything we need to address with a member related to something that is not working well in our chapter. And look, my pastor said he looked up all in the dictionary, by the way. You know what it means? Yeah, he's a kind of obnoxious, sarcastic guy. But listen, the truth of the matter is that we have to apply policy fairly and consistently in all situations. This is where we get ourselves into trouble sometimes when we don't do that. If you want to learn more about the policies and the why, you can actually go to BNI Business Builder. There's a little micro-learning, about 5 minutes on each one, that just explains the why behind it and the application of it. So that if you're a vice president and someone comes and asks you to make an exception to policy, you'll be able to say, this is why this policy is so important to BNI and why we're unable to make an exception to it. And so that is helpful to us from that standpoint. So these are the foundational elements. Here's what I love. Positive accountability is what makes BNI work. Where's Brian Dow? Yeah, Brian and I were talking. We were talking out in the lobby earlier, and we were talking about accountability. One of my favorite subjects. And what I love about accountability is it's really your choice. It's your choice to take ownership for the results you want to get. And so we all have that choice. And so that's what I love about BNI. We set our members up for disappointment when we don't clarify the expectations of what is involved in their commitment to BNI. And we're going to look at that in just a minute. Nothing of importance can be built or expected to last without a strong foundation. So we've got to start there and include these key elements that have been created and sustained for the last 40 years to make BNI great. All right, so let's talk about experiencing pure BNI from the standpoint of the visitor experience, the applicant experience, and the member experience. Before we do that, though, let's define experience. Experience, an event or occurrence that leaves an impression on someone. And I don't know about you guys, I enjoy the opportunity to leave an impression on someone and bring a smile to their face or make a connection with them, to make them feel heard and included and part of what we're doing. So we want to leave an impression on them that is one of, hey, these people are amazing. That's another thing that Brian and I were talking about, is just in the entrepreneurial world, BNI is a game changer and a life changer for people. And so we want them to come and experience what we've all had the opportunity to experience. And I was a BNI member for 12 years, before I took this role. And so the visitor experience matters. You will notice that there are 11 touch points in this process. According to sales statistics, how many salespeople do I have in the room? I'll wait. Yeah, okay. I know we hate it, but listen. Sales is a noble profession, right? We help people solve problems. Actually, 80% of sales are made between call 5 and call 12, or touch point 5 and touch point 12. And so we have 11 touch points built into this process. Some of them are automated, some of them are personalized, and that is great. So we want our visitors to experience this, and we want them to experience the whole thing. Ideally, we're reaching out to them. I get a lot more text messages these days from visitor hosts than phone calls, which is great. It's fine, it works. Most people respond to a text message. Looking forward to seeing you at the meeting. And then we want to make sure that we just set them up for success. Here's where you are going to go. If we have a meal, if we have parking, if there are things they need to know, think about how you felt when you showed up as a stranger at your BNI meeting and how the hospitality extended to you made a difference to whether or not you became a member. We also, of course, have these very specific spots in our meeting agenda where we connect directly with our visitors. And that is on purpose. We want them to know that we're glad they came out. I tell people all the time, we have the most amazing sales pipeline in all of sales. Our prospects actually enter our pipeline voluntarily when they show up for a meeting. They proactively came looking for something that BNI has. We owe it to them to find out what they need in their business and connect them to the opportunity that BNI has. And then, of course, you guys are always ahead of the curve, using tools, using AI, using great stuff, and making it easy for your visitors to decide to become part of the BNI family and community here in Tampa. One of the things that we like to tell people is when it comes to applicant experience, then your visitor becomes an applicant, is we want to practice the platinum rule. How do they want to be communicated with? So as soon as I get the application, hey, Cameron, thanks for the application. Really looking forward to setting up the interview. Trisha will reach out to you tomorrow to connect you to our online interview process, and we'll get that done. 2-day processing for applications. You guys are always ahead of the curve, which is amazing. I think the biggest challenge we have when it comes to pure BNI is really renewals. And we're working on this, and I know that we give feedback to our IT team all the time about how can we make this easier. I mean, in my mind, our competition is buy now with one click. That's how easy it needs to be if I want to purchase something. So we've got some work to do there. Our Secretary Treasurers will announce our upcoming renewals, of course, and our Member Engagement Chair does a 7-month check-in with every member. All right, our goal with all applications is to remove friction and bottlenecks from the process, because anytime somebody wants to make a purchase or become part of our chapter, we want to make that as easy as we can for them. So one of the ways we do that is by automating some of those processes. And I love that. Cameron sent me the link to the interview, and I was like, this is super cool. So I love that. All right, member experience. We have two types of members: new members and renewing members, and the experience is a little bit different. I love the name tent, the ELT, the Executive Leadership Team tents, because Spencer mentioned new member orientation. So it's critical, D equals E over R. One of the most important things we can do is that new member orientation, to let our members know what to expect, what's next. When somebody buys a product or service, the first thing they want to know is, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decision? And then the next thing they want to know is, what do I do next? And so I don't know about you guys, I came from a traditional business career, 20 years in the business world, decided to start a customer service training and leadership development company, and my mentor said, go join BNI. I had never heard of it. I had just moved to Charlotte. I Googled it. I found my chapter. Thankfully, they were super welcoming and it made it very easy for me, and I filled out my application and joined that day. And then they helped me navigate and learn BNI. I understood business, and I certainly had a passion for the business that I had started. I needed somebody to help me crack the BNI code, though. So they were helpful in doing that. So that's what we want to do, is encourage them to take advantage of all the tools we have available for them to leverage in the system. And then, of course, for our renewing members, we want to, one of my favorite things on this one, and why it's in bold, is enthusiastically reinduct them into the chapter. Nothing is more powerful to our visitors than someone coming up and saying, I'm a 10-year member of BNI because this is what it did for my business. I was telling, and I might have told Brian this story too, I was telling Tricia, I was in the UK last year doing some training, and we attended an event similar to this, and I love it because I love stories. And I saw a guy with a 15-year ribbon on, and I said, 15 years? I bet there's a story there. And he said, you know, there is. I was 25 years old with a lawnmower, and I thought I was going to cut a few yards. And now I'm 40 years old with a business and trucks on the road and employees and a legacy for my kids, and my business coaches in BNI and my attorneys in BNI and my bookkeepers in BNI. And all these people are here, and they help me build my business. That story is all over the world, you guys. That story's in this room in a lot of cases, which is really cool. So enthusiastically reinduct them, because it reminds us of the power of our network. And it is powerful. The happy customers are our biggest advocates, and then, of course, the biggest advertising you can have is a loyal customer. You know, and that was me having come from Nordstrom. You know, they built a $10 billion company on word-of-mouth marketing, so I thought, well, you know, if it worked for them, I'm going to give it a shot. And then I met the people in BNI, and I was like, not only that, they've got a full-on system for doing it. So they have this figured out, and they're really good at it, which was amazing. So this is the most powerful tool we have. I like to joke with people sometimes that we are actually the world's largest referral marketing organization or word-of-mouth marketing organization that nobody's ever heard of. And it's surprising to me how many people haven't heard of BNI. But if you're not in the entrepreneurial world, maybe you haven't, because you haven't had a need for what we do. So that could be part of it. All right, let's talk about member and chapter success. Of course, we're going to define success. Before we do that, I'm big on definitions. I love triumph, accomplishment, achievement, right? How many of you guys achieved some goals in 2024? Had some triumphs in 2020? Yeah, how does that feel? It's a really great thing. So what we want to do is help our members succeed. No BNI chapter on the planet can ever reach its full potential unless we help every single member reach their potential. And that's our goal, is to leverage the system to help every member get what they need for their business. And value's in the eye of the beholder, you guys. It isn't what we say it is, it's what you say you need from BNI. And so that's the thing. It is powerful to create success for other people. So let's look at member success. Here's what I love about BNI. This is a fascinating thing. These are the 5 challenges that entrepreneurs typically face. Usually the first one is what brings them to BNI. I need more revenue. Or my marketing efforts are inconsistent. I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and my cash flow is kind of up and down. So not only do I need more revenue, my marketing is inconsistent. The third thing is don't have enough time to do everything I need to do. Anybody else in the room that I use my favorite Waffle House analogy, find yourself scattered, smothered, and covered from time to time? Yeah, the life of an entrepreneur, right? It's another thing Brian and I were talking about. First, it starts out as a job, and it's every job. It's not just one thing. I'm doing it all, right? Now, what we can do in BNI is outsource our bookkeeping and outsource our payroll and outsource other things. BNI isn't just our referral network, it's our entire business support network. I can outsource my social media. I can call on somebody to be an accountability partner or a business coach for me. The next challenge is they don't have enough resources to scale. We have every single thing you need in BNI to take your business to the next level. And if it's not in your own chapter, I promise you it is in this geography somewhere really close by. And if it's not, we've got 330,000 other people around the world that in the spirit of Giver's Gain would be happy to help you get whatever you need. And then the last one is they're not retaining their existing clients. Here's what I love about this. When you're the most connected person in your network, how valuable do you become to your clients? Super valuable. They call you and they go, hey, Spencer, I'm calling you because you know everybody. You're connected to everybody. I need a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. Who do you recommend? So we're the most connected people in the world to whatever we need to scale our business or get some time back in our life. So this is something that BNI can do. Spencer I was talking to him in December, and you guys don't have some of the same challenges with competitors that we do in some of our other regions. In some of our other areas, our competitors are just rampant. But you know what they can't do? All of this. They can't do this. And they don't hold people accountable, right, Brian? All right, so let's talk about unlocking the value of the BNI system. Here's what most members think they bought. How many of you guys think you bought a meeting when you first showed up at BNI? Like, this is a meeting. Come to a meeting. Yeah, members think they bought a meeting. Here's what they really bought. A structured, positive, professional referral marketing program. A program is actually something that is a structured system developed for long-term aim. So we've got a goal that's in the future that we're creating. We have a vision when we started our enterprise. And so all of these things, and this isn't all of it, by the way, but here's the thing. People, a lot of times when I was launching chapters back in the day, people would be like, Gina, I heard BNI takes a lot of time. And I would say, well, in fairness, there is a time commitment involved in BNI. May I ask you a question? What are you currently doing to market your business? And then they would rattle it off, and I would say, how's it going? Well, would it be possible for you to reallocate some of that time to a more structured, strategic approach to marketing your business? Directly through a group of people who are connected to the business community and sold out on Giver's Gain, and they are here for you. So it's a little bit of a mindset shift. So there is a time commitment to BNI. One-to-ones are one of the most powerful things that happen to BNI. I walked by Tricia when they were showing that statistic up there, the chapter, they had one referral per one-to-one. I mean, that statistic is mind-blowing and amazing. And don't get me wrong, fun's one of my personal core values, so fun-to-ones work too. However, referral strategy sessions work better for you to get business. Then we'll go have some fun. So we got to follow the system, buy into the system, and it includes all of these things. It's a mutual commitment. Tricia and Spencer and their amazing family are committed to your success. And then we are committed to embracing pure BNI and following and using the system so that we can experience that success. Here's the business impact. So here's the thing. This is what I say to people. Listen, nobody in this room or anywhere else on the planet, by the way, is ever going to do anything because I said so. or because I think you should. All right? People do things for their own reasons. So find out why. Find out why. If you don't believe me, here's the impact to your business. This is what this could mean to you. It is powerful, super powerful what this system can do when you embrace it and implement it and just weave it into the marketing strategy of your business. You will grow, you will learn, you will expand. And that is an amazing thing. It's an amazing opportunity for you to build and leave a legacy for your family. All right, we've all seen this. Got to set our goals. 2 types of goals, right? Outcome goals and performance goals. I control the performance. That leads to the outcome. So in BNI, the performance is the power of 1 activities, since we already admitted that we're all in sales, right? As a salesperson, we control our activity level, and then that controls the outcome of how we do business. So this is your personal scoreboard. I love this. It's a personal diagnostic tool. You're not competing against anyone else. You're defining success on your terms. This is your scoreboard in the referral marketing game that you are engaged in for your business. Because some chapters are like, well, Gina, it feels like it's comparing. I'm like, then alphabetize it. Just use it though. I mean, why do we love sports? For those of us who do. Yeah, we're watching the scoreboard, right? March Madness is on. Turn on the TV. Yeah, so it measures our activity and not our results. I control my activity. So if I'm not getting the results I want, I might need to ramp up my activity a little bit and make a commitment to that, right? Our 7-month check-in form, just a conversation we have in the membership committee. And of course, we want to maximize every member's success by surrounding them with the referral partners they need to be successful. I would invite you to get laser focused on category specificity in your chapters. If you go over to Miami, almost every one of those chapters has 8, 10, 12, 15 attorneys in it. Hyper specialized. And they all get a lot more referrals from each other. Because you've got more opportunity to build a bigger referral team that brings more referral partners to the equation for you. All right? And then chapter success, chapter has goals. That's number 1. We got to have goals. What are we building? One of my favorite questions when I was in the field to ask incoming chapter presidents is, what's your vision for the chapter for the next year? What's the legacy you want to leave in this chapter next year? What's the impact you want to make during your term leading this chapter? So, chapter has goals, consistent visitor flow, retention is high, members are engaged, members are maximizing their success, and we hold the chapter success meeting. We have as many whys in our chapters as we have members. Every one of our members has a vision for what their life and business will look like when they use our system to achieve their goals. We want to support that. So whatever that is, let's embrace that and help them do it. And then let's start at the beginning. If we don't have any goals, then take some small steps and set some goals and commit to them. Because this is what will happen in our chapter if we're not committed to the system. Yes, it can happen, right? We can go from Disneyland to BNI Light, right? And so that is a difficult thing for us to go through. And Tim Roberts is fond of saying it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. So if our chapter's dying, culture doesn't erode overnight. It erodes when we ignore little things like people standing during the referral and testimonial portion, or like not counting people late if they show up after the published meeting time. We got to follow the system. When we do, though, I promise you, and some of you in this room, most of you already know, it works. All right, the chapter success meeting, 2 reasons we do that is to run the chapter like a business and to close the accountability loop. When we do that chapter success meeting, every single process that matters to our success in BNI is discussed and addressed, and it gives us an opportunity to chart our course as a leadership team for what we're building in our chapter. So the chapter success meeting is critical because these are all of the critical processes and the fundamentals, if you will, that need to happen in our chapter to help us succeed. So that is Pure BNI and the essence of Pure BNI. What it does is it allows us to create a culture in our chapter. And people are attracted to success. People want to be around other people that are doing great things, that challenge them to be better, that lift them up. Our CEO, Mary Kennedy Thompson, likes to remind us that the word inspire means to breathe life into. Who can we inspire today with what's happening in our chapter? Sometimes visitors show up and they just go, wow. These are the most amazing business people I've ever seen. Get me the application. And that's what Pure BNI will show them, the power of a system and a structure that works. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the key to our success and your success. And we want to help you implement all of Pure BNI into your chapter so that you can have incredible success. All right? Quality in a service or product is not what you put into it, it's what your customers get out of it. So for you guys, for us, it's what are you getting out of it? Our goal is to help you increase your business. That's our brand promise to you. That's what we live and breathe for every day in this job, is to help you all be successful and help you find ways to grow your business and to win. So with that, I think we're maybe, all right.
I think we're good. Thank you. Appreciate it.